Hi, thanks so much for coming back for the second part of the video. So this video is for those of you who are applying to the Trainee Probation Officer scheme, PQIP. So let's just get straight into it. You saw part one where I was talking about how in my job I would use the communicating and influencing. So that is part of the behaviour profiles that you need to complete your application, and I'm going to go through the same in this video. It's just to let you know how I would actually use those things in my job, just to give you a sense of exactly what they might be looking for. You don't have to by any means now change your application or think, oh no, I need to put exactly that example. It is just to give you some insight into what a probation officer does. If you've seen my previous videos, then you'll know that I've been a probation officer since 2013. So let's just get straight into it. Also, I am the only probation officer out there on the internet. So if you need any help, any guidance, any insight into the job, then come to me, Edward's Tutoring. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, and on TikTok, but that's Psychology Tutor. So, delivering at pace, what does this actually mean in real terms? If I never worked for probation, I'd have no idea what they mean by this. So I'm gonna just say it in real terms. So in my job, every day we are delivering at pace. This basically means that they want to know that you are able to deliver your work in high stress situations, under time pressures and time limits. So for example, a full-time probation officer might have 37 offenders that they're managing at one point. At any one of those given times, you will have different reports and assessments to write. So they want to know that you can make a good decision under pressure, that you can deliver excellent quality whilst doing the report, whilst gathering all the information from, any services involved or going on the system, and by speaking to the offender. So that is what they want to see. And a sentence plan on someone that needs to be done within 10 days. Bear in mind, I might have annual leave during that time. I might be working part-time, so that 10 days is less, or I might have to deal with my everyday case management of seeing offenders and other things going off. So it's to ensure that you can actually prioritise your time to get the work done and remain of a good quality. Another example, if one of your colleagues go off sick, you may have to cover a report that was maybe not started or half started. So then you can actually take on that case, quickly do that report within a quick turnaround so it still gets done for the deadline. So there we go. Let's move on to the next, making effective decisions. This is another key one that you have to do all the time in the day job as a probation officer. So I'll give you an example where I have to make an effective decision. Someone who's staying at a probation hostel, they haven't returned back to the hostel in time for their curfew. Their curfew is 7 p.m. Yeah. You find out the next day that they returned at 12 p.m. midnight and they were drunk. So you have to think, okay, what was going on? Where were they? Who were they with? Why didn't they come back? Why didn't they ring? Find out all the why. Find out what rules that they're in breach of. So they in breach of, drinking when they shouldn't be drinking, the hostel rules, any of their probation licence. Is any of where they were, is that in breach of their licence? Were they with some friends that they weren't supposed to be? So you've got to gather all the information and make an effective decision. So some decisions might be, you might want to issue a warning, or you might want to have a meeting with the offender and the hostel staff or any key workers involved with them. You might want to decide on a verbal warning, or you might want to decide on recalling to prison. All of that is a probation officer making an effective decision. Again, a lot of decisions are made under time pressure. You don't have a lot of time to think and act, so you've kind of got to be effective in your decision making. So there we go. Let's move on to the next one. Managing a high quality service is the next one. So the probation service is, as you know, government run, it's civil service, and one of the civil service qualities is to always be delivering a high service because you're dealing with the public. It's a bit like when you're in customer service roles, you need to be delivering high customer service. So this means it needs to be of good standards. So we have things like quality assurance, where a bit like when you write an essay, you need to write it within certain guidelines, within certain timeframes. So the quality of work needs to be good, as well as the fast-paced delivery. So one example might be when, as a probation officer, you might be writing a parole report. There'll be certain guidelines that you have to follow and ensure that it meets the minimum quality standards. So let's move on to the next one. The last one, where you're asked to describe when you've dealt with someone with challenging or complex needs. Obviously, this is a daily occurrence. When you're working as a probation officer, you are going to be working with challenging, complex people. So again, an example is, if there's so many examples, it could be working with someone who is really resistant when you're working with them one-to-one. They're resistant to the probation services, they don't want to engage with you, or it might be that you're working with someone who's got chaotic lifestyle, so they've got lots of different agencies involved, so maybe drug agencies, mental health, maybe they're also in a relationship with another offender, so they're very chaotic. You have to be able to kind of manage their situation and manage the workload of a chaotic person. It could be that they have been challenging in prison and you keep getting reports and updates that they're being challenging behaviour. So any situation you can use where you've had to deal with your children, siblings, family friends, any situation we've had to deal with someone challenging. When I applied for the job, I had reception and admin experience and customer service experience. So any of those would count towards dealing with a challenging person. They just want to see that you can deal with someone who is challenging and chaotic. So get a good example, mainly focus on the why and the how. Okay, so I hope you like this. I hope I got this video out in time for you to do this part. If you want any other videos, keep me updated, let me know how you're getting on, and thanks for watching. My links are below for all my socials.